All right, happy Saturday, friends. Unfortunately, I just spent most of my YouTube time screwing around with trying to get my microphone to work. If it sounds off, you get what you get this time. Sorry. I blame Doge. Big Balls probably got in there and... What I wanted to talk about today was the second example that I have run across of pseudoscience conspiracy theorist types pleading their case to the Trump administration to step in and help them support their conspiracy theories. The first one was, of course, Dan Richards, who I did a video on and pointed you to a better, more complete video.
One demonstrable cause of Dan's errors in this case is simply lack of knowledge. He just did not know what he was talking about.
Last week, writing a letter to Trump telling him to defund the SAA, Society for American Archaeology, which is not a federally funded agency, so Dan was very, very wrong about that. I don't know whether he's responded to that yet or not. When it's pointed out to you that you are wrong and you choose to just say nothing and don't address it, then eventually that goes from, oops, I made a mistake, to basically lying. So I think that's where that one is probably at this point. Anyway, example number 2 is from our friend L.A. Marzulli, who is putting together a petition to have DOGE apparently raid museums and other places that might be hiding the giant skeletons. You can't make this stuff up. Let me get to what he said. Hold on. Here we go. The burying of giants. I'll save you the pain of me searching for it. Here's the clip.
We know that they were here. They were there. Why aren't we being told the truth? At some point, I'm going to sit down with my lawyer, Rick Town, and we're going to create a petition. And we're going to put it up on our website, and people will be able to sign the petition. And then as a legal document with all the signatures, I will present that. My lawyer will try to present it to DOGE and to try to open up the gates of some of these museums. For instance, the Smithsonian. Do they have elongated skulls there? Do they have the bones of the giant? And if they do, the American people have the right to know. Why? Your taxpayer dollars are going there.
All right, so he's going to create a petition along with his lawyer, Rick Town. So you brought him into it, not me. Rick Town is the guy who I had to correspond with in order to settle the matter between L.A. Marzulli and I, which I agreed to not talk about the details. All I can say is that the matter was settled to the satisfaction of both parties. Hopefully he's not as bad as Steve Green, who was Jovan Hutton Pulitzer's attorney, who I corresponded with, to my great pleasure. Anyway, I feel kind of bad for the lawyers who get tangled up in these things. But I guess there's a reason why there are lawyer jokes. So Rick Town, Richard Town, whatever his name is, that's the guy. And as I was trying to find the original video, which I had planned on doing this video, I saw this one a couple days ago. I think that he actually has his petition up. So, okay, here we go. On the trail, giants were here. A petition to demand.
There is a hidden history that's been deliberately obfuscated from the peoples of the world, and that's why I am on the trail of the Nephilim. The question, mainstream archaeology insists that, Native Americans built all the mounds. They just forgot that they had done so.
Again, this is a topic saved for another video, but oh well. I'm gonna try to find the point. Where's the petition? Where's the petition?
But we're saying, and of course, if you go against that, and folks, we are going to create a petition, and it'll be on the website. We don't have it ready yet, but in the next week or two, it's going to be ready. And we want thousands of signatures on this petition. And basically what it's going to say is this, that many of the museums are funded with taxpayer dollars. And yet there is an overarching paradigm, which is in every museum I've ever been to. And that, of course, is the Darwinian paradigm. Why is it there? As Christians, we don't believe in the Darwinian paradigm. Why are we told that, we're Neanderthals, no pun intended, because we believe in a God who created everything? Well, the petition will specifically target several of these museums, one of them, of course, being the Smithsonian. The Smithsonian is funded by taxpayer dollars. We have a right to find out what's in the Smithsonian. More about that in the coming days. But, I'm going to work with my lawyer on this. It'll be a legal document. Once we get thousands of signatures, then we're going to send that up to Elon Musk, maybe some other people. I don't know.
You should send it straight to Big Balls. He'll get in there. What was his name? Edward Big Balls Courtesine?
Corey Stain's been a topic of conversation since February, when investigative journalist Jacqueline Sweet revealed on Blue Sky that he used to go by Big Balls on LinkedIn.
He'll get in there. He'll open boxes. He, of course, knows what giant bones look like, as do all of these 20-year-old computer coders. I'm sure that they'll be able to get in there and tell you exactly what has happened with this cover-up. They'll be able to uncover all the fraud and identify all these things. These guys are right in that all of the accounts of giant skeletons are real accounts. Not that the accounts are factual, but the accounts existed from the mid to late 1800s, especially. The accounts of giant skeletons were really, really common in newspapers in the United States. It's an interesting question as to why that happened, and L.A. Marzulli and others will poo-poo and say that we're dismissing that and not giving it enough real thought, and the explanations of mainstream archaeology are ridiculous, that not everybody could have been making all this stuff up. People couldn't have been making measurement errors. People couldn't have been making errors of identification. And the question becomes then, if all of these explanations that we have for why this kind of fad-like curve of giant accounts don't hold any water, then where is one example of giant human skeletons? And these guys will point to the Smithsonian over and over and over again, saying that they had confiscated the bones, they're hiding them. There was a satirical article that came out, I think it was when the Search for the Lost Giants show was on, basically making fun of the idea that, a barge full of human giant skeletons was dumped into the ocean to prevent them from being found. And I've had people send me that article as evidence of a cover-up. That's how ridiculous it is. My point is that they want to go rifling through the basements of museums to look for these things, which the professional archaeologists and anthropologists and museum curators will tell you do not exist. They are not there because they have no evidence. So that is where you go when you are confronted with a lack of evidence for your claim. You claim a conspiracy to hide the evidence, and then that becomes the quest. So this is the quest that they are on now. They are seeing this opportunity to have, a government that is friendly to conspiracy theories and friendly to going and sticking their fingers in things they know nothing about. They're seeing an opportunity to get in there and look around. The problem is, even if every single closet and box in the basement and file cabinet in the Smithsonian were opened up so that DOGE could go through and look for evidence of human skeletons, which they won't. That's a absurd idea. They will find none. And then the conspiracy theorists like L.A. Marzulli will just say, well, there's someplace else we haven't looked. Like, this conspiracy must be even deeper than we thought. There must be some undisclosed location where these things are being kept from us. Or maybe they really were on the barge that got dumped into the Potomac River or off the coast of New Jersey or wherever. Or maybe they're in the Grand Canyon, who knows? Maybe NORAD has them. It will never end. Just like you saw that weird thing where they put out some Epstein files and that was supposed to be a big deal. The people who were into a conspiracy theory around the death of Jeffrey Epstein, I don't know what they've said about it, but they didn't seem happy with the information they got, and that's because what they wanted wasn't there. So they're going to say there's something else. There have to be more files. So I guess the interesting thing to me, I've kind of been egging this on. I don't know whether it's had any effect or not. But, this is your moment, conspiracy theorists, to get these things opened up. So I have a good mind to sign your petition. I don't know whether it's anywhere yet or not. He's right. The Smithsonian gets a lot of money. I don't know the dollar number. I'm sure it's millions and millions of dollars from the federal government. It gets blamed for a lot of nefarious, sinister things. You know, the bones went to the Smithsonian, then they were never seen again. We've heard this repeated over and over again. You know, the guy in the black coat shows up, men in black from the Smithsonian. They confiscated the bones. There were like bones of a whale or something that were in like a church in Poland. I'll put it up on the screen if I can find it. You know, that were sitting up there as bones of a giant for, I don't know how many hundreds of years, like from medieval times or something. It is really, really easy to misidentify bones. And if you think that every sheriff and every coroner and every doctor can take a piece of bone and know what it is off the top of your head, you are mistaken. These people are usually not trained to know human skeletal anatomy or animal skeletal anatomy when those bones are outside of the body. And I know this because I went to college with some people who were pre-med, and I was studying faunal osteology at the time as part of my archaeology training. And, you know, you'd get to where you could identify, you know, the femur of a turkey or a coyote or a rabbit, different bones and different fragments of bones, and you'd know whether it was a right or a left or a male or a female or a juvenile or an adult. And like, we were drilled on this stuff and we learned it. And when I would hold, you know, a radius from a sheep and give it to my med school friend and say, what bone is this? And he'd say, oh, it's like a baby's clavicle or, you know, something. Or he'd guess and say, oh, it was the femur. And then he'd say, well, why do you have that? You know, you're not supposed to have human bones, right? Like, well, it's not human. My point is, the question of, is it human, is one of the first things that you need to ask when you are confronted with a bunch of skeletal material that is claimed to be human. You need to ask, is it bone? You'd be surprised how many people can't tell bone from things that kind of look like bone, ceramics, rocks, whatever. I see pictures on Facebook all the time of stuff that people swear are teeth. They are not teeth. Bone has, you know, certain structures to it, and you can learn to recognize those. Then you ask, is it human bone or not? And if you're a doctor, a physician, and your training is all in how to take care of living people and keep them alive, you have no training for identifying human bones outside of the human body. That doesn't mean it's impossible and you can't do it, but, you know, what's the saying, when your tool is a hammer, when your only tool is a hammer, every problem becomes a nail. There's other training that goes into being able to do this. So that's a really, really long way of saying all of these claims that people wouldn't have misidentified these things, like, that's baloney. A lot of this stuff was misidentified. And we have specific cases where things that were supposed to be giant skeletons of humans were displayed and then later found to be mastodon. There's one from Tennessee that was actually well documented. And that sort of thing, I'm sure, was common. I was remembering this a little bit wrong. There were dragon bones in a cathedral in Poland, and they turned out to be... what did they turn out to be? A rhinoceros skull? Yeah, there you go. Okay, that's one case. So these bones held up as one thing, some mythological creature. Giant bones and early relics in early modern Europe's churches. Shoulder blades at cathedrals, ribs, giant's bones in natural history, a name erroneously given to certain fossil bones. Vulgarly, it's supposed to have been the bones of giants, but in reality are those of elephants or whale kind. Anyway, that's just a short detour. Documented cases of well-meaning, intelligent, yet unskilled people mistaking animal bones for the bones of giant humans are out there. It happened. I don't think that explains most of the North American cases of giants, not at all, but that is one component. So when you read these ancient historical sources that say, you know, the bones of the giants were on display at so-and-so, think about it. Those old sources, especially written before there was any idea of evolution, that species changed, that there were things like dinosaurs and other extinct animals, you know, so people would find large bones and have no other way to explain them other than the Bible, which was the main way of knowing about the past. So anyway, again, this is a really, really long way of saying I really don't have a lot of confidence in the identifications that were made by non-professionals in the mid to late 1800s when this whole craze was going on. You know, is it possible that there are some tall people out there? Sure, of course. Do I think that all of these are giant skeletons? They are hidden by the Smithsonian and others? No. What about all the ones that were found before the Smithsonian even existed? When was the Smithsonian? Like mid-1800s, 1846? We have accounts of... Here, let me find out. Smithsonian Institution, created by the U.S. government for the increase and diffusion of knowledge, founded on August 10th, 1846. Look at that. The old guy remembered something. So what about all the skeletons that were found before 1846? What about all the skeletons that were found in the old world? How far back does this conspiracy go that the Smithsonian is hiding these things? If you listen to giant enthusiasts like Steve Quayle, he will tell you this is, a global scale, multi-1,000-year conspiracy to hide all of this evidence that these claims say should be there. There should be material evidence for this stuff, and the fact of the matter is that there's not. Anyway, I digress a little bit. I expect we will see more of this. I'm assuming that the UFO people are clamoring for more disclosure. I don't really follow that. Surely the government has evidence on Bigfoot. Why don't you guys put a petition together and have Elon Musk go and look for Bigfoot and evidence of Bigfoot that the government is hiding? You got your lizard people. Surely the government knows about that. They're all on your side now. So you got to be able to have all that disclosed. All the various assassinations. I know that those are actually in the works, right? We're supposed to get, if we haven't already, gotten details about all the various assassinations, and we're going to release all these things. So again, this is I hate to call it a gold mine for conspiracy theorists, because I think they're going to be sorely disappointed and that they won't find anything. But if anything, that will probably deepen their belief that there are active conspiracies that go very, very deep that are keeping them from knowing the truth. So L.A. Marzulli's shtick is that there are all these supernatural things that are, stemming from things that were communicated in the Bible up till the present day, like real supernatural stuff that happens, and there should be evidence of that in the material world, and because there's not, it's being hidden from you.
There is a hidden history that's been deliberately obfuscated from the peoples of the world, and that's why I am on the trail of the Nephilim.
Now is an opportunity to go and have that evidence revealed. That's what he wants to happen. So he's going to call on Daddy Trump to try to make that happen. Or Elon Musk with his little, puppet strings. And then people like Dan, they don't like the politics of the SAA. They don't like Atlantis hunting being called out for its racist roots, so they want the government to defund a non-governmental agency. That's Dan's shtick. So I'm sure that DOGE is going to get a lot of ridiculous requests. Unfortunately for you guys, they will probably be too busy breaking Social Security and, firing essential workers from the VA. So they've got a lot to do. I'm not sure giant skeletons will rise to the top of their priority, but maybe now that Elon Musk has been told to stop firing people via email indiscriminately, maybe he will have time to go look for giant skeletons. Maybe he should work on his rockets and his car company that is going down the toilet. Just a suggestion. But sure, try to get your piece of the conspiracy pie, try to make some hay. Let's see if we can find if this petition is actually... All right, here's the L.A. Marzulli website. You get right into buying stuff. Number 1 on Amazon, huh? Okay. Watch, listen, stream, donate. All products. Where do we get to the petition? Well, let's see if he says the petition is up or not.
Folks, I am dead serious about this. We are going to get the petition up.
Okay.
And we're going to take it to the powers that be, because we want to know what happened to these artifacts, because we're not being told the truth. We're not being told the truth. We're not.
All right. So I guess the petition is not ready yet. He is not being told the truth, and he is not going to take it anymore. So they are going to have a petition. Anyway, I wanted to throw that out there. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Saturday, and I wish the best of luck to the conspiracy theorists and their enabling lawyers and fans to finally get some answers about what is being hidden from you or shoved down your throat in an unnecessary way, things that make you feel bad. So this is really, I think, the time for the snowflakes to rejoice. This is your moment. So you guys sign that petition and let me know how it goes. Bye-bye.